Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cast 5 Reviews. My name is Fayez, and I'm joined today by Mr. Young Lad Daniel.
Morning.
How are you, man? It's pretty early.
Not too bad.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah.
It was a long movie.
I got distracted by Horizon when we got home super late.
Oh,
So I was like, I had to stop myself. I was like, no, you need to go to bed. Stop.
oh wow. So how long did you play it for?
Like another 2 hours.
Wow. So I got home at 2 a.m. So I was like, okay, because I had coffee prior, so for our audio listeners or actually our YouTube watchers, we wake up really early in the morning. So he works nights, I wake up really early. Like, I wake up around like 4:30, hit the gym, and then go to work. He does night shift, so he's not used to staying up on his off days. So yes, I'm talk to me, man. I got home at 2 a.m. I was like, okay, I had coffee and everything just to stay up for this movie. So I was like, okay, what do I do when I just passed out? So the fact that you were able to stay up and play Horizon, how far are you anyways?
So how I was explaining how like halfway like a good chunk of the story once you get past the beginning bits is split into 3 sections.
Yeah.
So I just finished the second section now.
Okay. So, loving it?
Oh yeah, it's so good. The story keeps changing too. Like it keeps getting better and better, which is great.
That's awesome, man. Oh my God, my name is causing me so many problems when I'm trying to like fix it. It's just like all I have to do is bring it down, but I can't keep clicking the wrong button. I'm actually very excited. I'm gonna try to play it probably in April. I'm kind of like just head down playing Elden Ring, trying to figure out.
To say Elden Ring is the main thing you're focusing on right now.
Yeah, me and Farad, we actually haven't played in about a week, so it's I checked the trophies maybe about 4 days ago, and he's like 48 hours or 50 hours in, and I'm like a measly 12 hours. So I'm like, okay, well, when I come log back in, you got to show me a few things. So let's see. It's been an incredible journey so far. The only issue I've been having with Elden Ring, I'm playing it on PS5, and I did not know this until I saw Digital Foundry's video, that they're saying that the more updates they're releasing, it's kind of like breaking down the game. So I'm noticing on PS5 right now, frame rate drops, like massive frame rate drops, and this was not happening before. Like when we did our impression video, we were looking at maybe I would say 48 to 50 frames per second. Like time to time it'll drop on like very populated areas. But yesterday was like skipping frames, and it's on prioritized frame rate mode. So I don't know what happened. I know there's 2 updates that they released, but Digital Foundry
What were the updates fixing already? Like, was it just bugs and stuff they were fixing, and now that's even caused more issues?
Yeah, bugs and stuff. And they were saying that the best way of playing the game is the PlayStation 4 Pro version on PS5.
That's not a good sign. If it's a PS5 game and the best console to run it is a PS4 Pro.
Not even the standard Pro on a PS5 to get stable 60. So yeah, popping and stuff, I kind of noticed it a little bit yesterday. I don't know. Let's see. It's a Souls game. I figured that these things were gonna happen. It's a massive open world game, so it's not so much of an issue. But let's see.
I found that with Horizon too. Like the glitches are there, but it's not too bad. I mean, the only one that really bugged me was in some of the like cutscenes. Well, not really cutscenes. It's like they've made the talking to side characters more like animated because it's all motion capture and stuff now. But I found with Aloy, I don't know what it was, if it was like just something the way they scripted it, or like just the way they set everything up. For a bunch of characters, she's looking like this, like just like the person's the same height as them or like shorter, and she's just looking up. and it's just the eyes too, not the head, just this like. And it annoyed me. It was like, that's all you can see. It's just Aloy staring up to someone who's meant to be like 6 feet tall, but they're not. So I don't know, maybe it was just something to do with the way they, coded it, or like, maybe initially the character was meant to be taller and they never fixed that thing, or they, who knows. But
yeah,
that's the one glaring thing, but like everything else has been pretty good, and the rest of it's all just been like the odd texture thing is iffy, or
what about the texture? What about the stash?
That bugged me too a little bit. Like, because every time you pick something up, if you don't have room on you, it just gets stored to your inventory back at camp. So easy system to use, which is great for when you're like stocking up on like potions or herbs, things like that. You can like gather everything you need, but if you don't have room on you, you still have it. You just need to go somewhere to access it. But yeah, every time you pick something up and you don't have room, which is like within the first 10 minutes because you just gather everything, it's like, oh, I'm going to send this to my stash. I'm going to send this to my stash. I'm like, I know. It pops up at the bottom too. Collected 2 medical berries, brackets, sent to stash in inventory. It's like, I don't need you telling me 5 different times, Aloy. I know.
Oh, damn.
It's just odd small things like that. But like the game's running really well, and the graphics and the frame rate have been exceptional. I haven't really seen any drops.
Are you playing it on frame rate mode, or you are playing it on prioritizing resolution? I think you were playing it on frame rate, right?
Resolution.
Oh, resolution. Okay. So 30 frames.
I wasn't bothered about performance.
Because you mentioned last time when we were doing the impressions, you mentioned that it kind of looks a little more gimmicky or gamey if you're playing it on a higher frame rate mode. So you chose.
I found like, if you like more frames, and it was like, it's just like you lose the finer details.
Yeah,
which usually isn't too noticeable, and like especially when you're in like an action sequence, so you're not noticing the blades of the grass. It's like you're focusing on how everything's moving, but I found for me, like, I don't really focus on frame rates too much unless it's glaringly obvious. It's like in a game like this, like I'd rather just play it on the peak resolution and just enjoy the visuals rather than be like, oh, okay, it might slow down during the action sequence, so I need better frame rates and everything else. Like, I'm too focusing on not dying and like dodging and rolling rather than being like, oh, there was a tiny bit of lag, and when the machine came flying over my head, like everything's moving so fast, I wouldn't even notice it. I know some people do. I know you're notorious for it. You'll spot it immediately. It's like for me, like it could go right over my head. I wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah, it bugs me. That Star Wars episode when I was trying to explain it to you, I'm like, why? Why is it like this when they're driving their like what was it like? The sand bike or whatever the fuck it was called in Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, why? Why do I notice the trail? And you guys are like, no, what are you talking about?
You were pausing it on the TV like,
look. And then when I turned it on, you're like, oh, wait, shit. Yeah. I'm like, I know. It bugs me every time I notice that I've replaced 2 TVs like this. But
that's what happens when you take media studies and you learn all about films and TV.
It's
you can't enjoy them anymore.
It's bad, man. It's bad. So yeah, no, like right now with Elden Ring, I really noticed it. Like Horizon, I know that a few people have mentioned that they're preferring resolution over frame rate for that game specific. Because generally they just say just play in frame rate mode. So
yeah,
I'm very hyped. I want to play it. It's gonna be Theo's gonna write, man. It's gonna be hard going from Elden Ring all of a sudden to Horizon, but there's so much backlog too upcoming. But whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But that is not the topic of today's show. But before we start, I want to let any new audience member or podcast listener know that we are Cast 5. We're a group of friends that love to discuss or review video games, anime, movie entertainment, or anything in general that matters to us, and hopefully they resonate with you as well. We also stream on twitch.tv/cast_5, and currently we are streaming parts of the Endwalker raids and dungeons, plus Demon Souls, as Daniel has never played a Soulsborne game, and It's going as well as you can expect. Spoiler alert, he dies.
It shows.
A lot. A few housekeeping items for you guys. Bleach season 4 review unfortunately was delayed last week, but it will be releasing this upcoming week on Monday, and with season 5 coming the week following. So we're not going to take a bi-weekly break between those two. We weren't able to shoot it last week because our work schedules did not align, but we have tons of other content on youtube.com/cast5 that you can definitely check us out at. And we will be also streaming this Monday as well, and I believe it is Endwalker.
Yes.
So make sure you hit that thumbs up button, as it helps with the YouTube algorithm to promote our channel, and hit that subscribe button with the notifications turned on, because you need to be able to see our content, guys. Like, we have some weird fucking content, and you're not gonna get that anywhere else. And in case you do, that's great. Join us as well. If you enjoy our content and you already have subscribed, check us out on patreon.com as well, where members get exclusive content. Now, with all that said, let's jump into today's topic of this video: the Batman. You and I went yesterday, sir. Every single review that I have seen for this video, non-spoilery obviously, mentioned one fact, that this was also on the radio shows as well. Oh, it's a 3-hour long movie, but it didn't really feel like a 3-hour long movie. It felt more like a 2-hour long movie. Dan, I'm going to start with you. Did you feel it was a 3-hour long movie?
No, actually. I was definitely sat there thinking, this is a long movie. I didn't realize how long it was until I was texting a friend when I got home, and I was like, oh yeah, I got back from Batman, it's pretty good. And they're like, oh, how long is it? I'm like, I mentioned it was long. I was like, let me check. Google, 3 hours? I was like, oh okay, yeah. Like, I thought it maybe like 2.5, 2 at the most. I didn't realize it was a 3-hour movie. But I was definitely sat there going, definitely been here more than this regular movie time. How long have I been in here for? And like, the guy in the row in front of me kept like scratching his head, and every time he scratched his head, his like smartwatch kept lighting up. So I was like, oh, it's that time. Oh, okay.
That's so annoying. There was a guy behind us that was talking very loudly during one of the parts, and that was a part, well, it's a spoiler, so we'll discuss that later, but it's like midway through the movie, and Catwoman is just learning out what really happened to her friend, and he was just talking in the back, and I fully turned around and looked at him, and I'm just like, I didn't say anything because like I didn't want to be like, you're talking now, I'm talking as well, so I just went I just pointed at the screen, and then he just like was like, sorry. I'm like, why would you think like?
What was he talking about? Like Batman stuff? Like, oh, this is so cool, like, blah, blah, blah. Or is it like, hey, I go to the grocery store later? Like,
I did not know what he was talking. Originally, I thought that maybe because we were second row from the top, so I thought maybe like I'm just hearing voices. So like whatever the speakers are saying or whatever something's going on in the back is what I'm hearing, but there's a delay until I hear it from the front speaker. So it was really tripping me out. And I'm like, but then I had to like take a moment and be like, okay, hold on. This does not happen for the rest of the movie. This is just some guy talking. So I turned around and like automatically technical difficulties, right? So I turned around and I looked at him, and he was, I don't know what he was talking about, but he was quite loud. Because his voice was kind of getting drowned by all the music. So I was like, okay. And then the part where I could hear him talk was when you see the video and she's screaming, and there's like how she died and she got strangled, right? So I turned around and I'm just like,
shut the fuck up.
And he's like, oh,
it's such a pet peeve. Like, just sit and watch the movie. Stop discussing it. Discuss it later.
Yeah, it hasn't been so bad. Generally speaking, people are very very polite in our theaters, like especially the one that we go to. But Fairview is pretty bad. Fairview, like, depending on when you go, oh my god, people don't stop talking.
That always bugs me. Like even like when people when you go with other people, like they just want to sit and talk to you about it. I'm like, no, I'm watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like,
Oh, that's gonna happen now. Oh, that's gonna happen now. It's like, yo, just like, okay, no one needs your commentary, man. Just keep it to yourself. But I felt it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Now it could be the fact that I had a nap, man, and I had coffee, so I was pretty wide awake, but I felt it a little bit where there is a delay in between. So let's just jump right into it and just discuss the
yeah,
movie. If this is the first time listening to
spoilers ahead.
Yes, spoilers. If this is the first time you're watching any of our reviews, this is your spoiler warning. We discuss everything, and we just kind of have an actual discussion about the like what we thought, kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse of how the story went and likes and dislikes and blah 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 blah. But it's all disjointed, so it's very very spoilerific. So please, spoiler alert right here. Especially like so there when the Riddler does the first two murders and then he goes for the third one, there's a little bit of a delay. And I was enjoying the murder aspect, especially after the second one with the rat maze, which was very much like Jigsaw-like.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, who's going to be next? I really want to know. And there's a little bit of a delay. And Selena's going through the thing and the DA's there. And it's like, okay, he's going to get captured. I wonder how he's involved. So there's a delay in between murder 3 and murder 4. So that I think they could have maybe shaved up about 10 minutes. So that I felt was a little bit long. Now, but flow wise, amazing. I really enjoyed this movie. Really, really enjoyed this movie. I think I would give it like a solid like 9 out of 10 straight off the bat. There's a few things I have a little bit of an issue with, but I think it's definitely a 9 out of 10. What about you?
I was going for more of a maybe an 8.5. I don't think I would have gone 9.
Really? Okay, I'm interested. I have not spoken
I think
to you
it was
about
more
this.
like I'm walking out the theater. I was like, that was really good. Like maybe 10 out of 10. And after I sat and thought about it for a bit, I was like, okay, no, I had an issue with this. I had an issue with that. And I was like, yeah, maybe not tip top, but like really good. Still amazing.
What do you think of Robert Pattinson and Batman?
I was surprised. Like genuinely surprised. I haven't seen any of his new stuff, especially because he took a break from acting from a good few years. Like he disappeared. He was like, "Yep, I'm done. Fuck all this." Yeah, I don't know. He was traumatized by Twilight. I don't know. That broke him. But everything that happened with Kristen Stewart and just the movies in general, like I've never seen someone hate a project they've worked on so much.
Yeah, he hates
anytime, like any like interviews and stuff, or like just like any like signing autographs and stuff. Loathes it. Absolutely hates the fact that he ever did Twilight. It broke him. So like I haven't really seen any of his new stuff, but I've seen the reviews of his stuff, and it's amazing. Like everyone's saying, like, "Oh yeah, he's a completely different actor. He's so good." Like Lighthouse, for example, still on my list to watch. Everyone's saying it was one of the best movies ever. And his acting with him and William Dafoe was amazing.
My god, yes.
So I definitely need to watch it at some point.
The Devil was great. There's the one where he's a junkie and his brother's like handicapped.
Yeah, that was a new one too. Yeah,
that one's really good. Tenet was really good. Yeah, no, he's a great actor. I
wasn't really sure like kind of what to expect, really. Because still in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, Twilight, Harry Potter, like, I don't know. And it's Batman. Batman's a huge role. And I was like, I don't know. And that was the thing I was worried about. I think as Batman, I think he was going to be good. And this was just based on the trailers and stuff, too. I was more concerned about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
And part of me, when it comes to Bruce Wayne, thinks he did a good job, and part of me doesn't, but it's also how they wrote the character too.
I don't think he's a good Bruce Wayne. I think he's a fantastic Batman. He's a fantastic Batman. I love the fact he's so fucking brutal. He's so brutal. And Matt Reeves, one thing he does, cinematography is always top notch, but atmosphere, man. Yeah, I love the way he builds atmosphere. Like the Planet of the Apes movies and so forth. Like he lets like the world be a character, right? Like wide shot angles and everything.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved it. Anytime he's coming onto screen or he's there as Bruce Wayne and he's gonna become Batman, and everything was go dark, and there's like 5 seconds of silence, and everyone's like, "What's he looking at? What's going on?" And then you would hear the boots.
Yes.
And it would send the fear of God in you, that you're like, oh shit, Batman's here. Like that. The subway sequence where they're just the initiation process of that group.
At the very beginning of the movie.
At the very beginning. And they are just going to beat up this old Asian man who's coming back from work. And he's giving a little bit of a narration, and he's saying that he can't be everywhere, so he has to choose exactly where he needs to strike. But some people know him, some people don't. It's 2 years into his Batman career. Can we call it a career? I don't know. His Batman life.
Batman hobby.
So it's been 2 years. So some people know him, some people don't, and some people understand what it means, and they just don't want to get their ass beat. But then when he chose that moment, and lights shut off, and they just hear, and you hear his boots, and the camera just stays on the shadows. And you know he's coming. It felt very much like Darth Vader in that movie, Rogue One.
I got it from that scene and the one later on in the movie where it's all dark and he appears in the elevator and the light with the machine gun fire.
Oh my god!
Full on Darth Vader.
Darth Vader just walks right through all of these guys, and everyone's shooting him, and it's just deflecting off and everything, and he's a force of nature, and I love it. And that when he walked in, and the action sequences, they don't cut. The choreography, you can actually see the entire fight right there. Like it's very much like John Wick. Like it's not fast cuts or anything like that. And he breaks the guy's arm, punches him, and then just pummels him to the fucking ground. And everyone's like, oh, okay, what are we gonna do? And he just goes, I'm vengeance. And I was like, yes, like it was such a cool fucking moment in the trailer to say, no, like this is a different type of Batman. Because like in terms of brutality, I always loved Ben Affleck. Because Ben Affleck just did not give a fuck. I'm like
he'd use guns and everything too. Like he wouldn't care.
I'm like, there's no way that man's like not like severely broken spine, disabled for the rest of his life. Like you see blood, I'm like, that man's definitely dead, man. You're all right. This is a different type of Batman, but like I loved it because he was huge, and he would just wreck you through. But this Batman, he's slimmer, he's still learning, and you can tell he thinks he can take everything on him, and he can't. So he's still learning the ropes. There's this one scene that like shocked me, is near the end. He's on the walkway up top where the lights are, and he's fighting all these Riddler wannabes, like his followers, and he's going through every single one of them, and this guy is shooting him, and he hits him and he throws him on the ground, and he's just walking right at him, and the guy's just quickly reloading, and he just shoots him point blank with the shotgun to his face. And Batman goes flying. That shocked me because you see him with the machine gun scene, with the elevator scene. Like he's walked through
the bullets.
He's taking everything. And the fact that shotgun blast knocked him out and he was barely even hanging off to like kind of say, hey, no, he's ridiculous.
He's still human.
But he's still human. Not everything's gonna save him. That shocked me. And I really like the fact that he gets in that zone and he's like, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, and especially you, because you know who I am. So you're gonna run away. So I'm gonna come after you too. And yeah, he underestimates himself time to time. He's taking a lot of hits. It's fucking him up. It's fucking him physically. It's fucking him psychologically. Alfred knows it, and he does not care. He's like, this is my legacy. This is my parents' legacy. And he does not care. So he's not, Bruce Wayne and Batman are very much intertwined, whereas he's not living that separate, that segregated life that Bruce Wayne definitely knows. So hopefully they fix that in the second and third movies, because there's definitely going to be a trilogy. There's 100%.
But I found, after thinking about it, I realized a lot of the like complaints I had, well, not like complaints, but things that I kind of had a disagreement about when it comes to like the character like Bruce Wayne and Batman and just things in general. It was more just comparing it to the previous Batmans.
Which one?
And once
Nolan?
Dark Knight, especially, like a Nolan trilogy for sure. But like, I think once I realized, I had to take a step back. I was like, okay, stop comparing it to previous ones. Think about what happened with this one. And I found the Bruce Wayne, how he was written, and the character of Bruce Wayne in this movie franchise is very different to regular Bruce Wayne that we're used to seeing. It's not going to be Bruce Wayne the playboy, Bruce Wayne the philanthropist, Bruce Wayne the multi-billionaire. It's going to be Bruce Wayne the tortured orphan who, he has a lot of money, but he's a recluse. He doesn't want anything to do with society in that aspect of his life. He's still tortured over his parents and the potential sins of his parents and the sins of his family and
sins of his father. Yes,
sins of his father too. Like the whole kind of the bit in the movie, but it's like once I kind of like just looked at that and I was like, okay, he's not going to be Bruce Wayne driving fancy cars all the time like that. That the Bruce Wayne we're used to seeing. It's going to be a much darker Bruce Wayne and a darker Batman. Like we're fine seeing a darker Batman, but like we're not used to seeing a dark Bruce Wayne at the same time. And so I think that was like one thing that was just like it was weird at first, and after like thinking about it, I was like, okay, like considering how they're like doing things in this cinematic universe, very different and maybe more fitting. Who knows?
I know that's the one thing that's the reason why I'm giving it a 9 is because like I do have like 2 points that I did not appreciate. The first one being Bruce Wayne. Because, like, yes, he's a broody Bruce Wayne, and I totally understand that this is the beginning of his career. Once again, I don't know if we can call it a career, but beginning of his Batman life. And he just doesn't know. He doesn't know who he is. He's trying to find himself, but at the same time, he cannot distinguish between, is he the person who's wearing the mask, or is Bruce Wayne his mask? Like in the other movies, like you see that tackled. You see that with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. You see that with the two, Christian Bale's, right? Yeah, and even Michael Keaton to a point. I'm not gonna mention the other ones because the other ones were like, come on, bro. So in this particular one, like you feel it. You feel that he does not know how to make that divide. So when and Alfred even mentions it to him when he says that, this is your family's legacy. Like you have to keep up appearances and so forth. And he's like, this is their legacy. Like me saving, I am their legacy. Saving the city is the legacy. It's like, yes and no. You're thinking small. Think of the bigger picture. There's not just one way you can go out and beat the fuck out of everybody to save everybody, save the city from itself. There's other ways as well. And you have those resources. You're fortunate. And that he was just not hearing Alfred, which, by the way, Andy Serkis, good job. Good job. Really. Like
first time we see him in a live action in a long time.
Yes. Like, I think the casting itself was done really, really well. Like Robert Pattinson as Batman, Andy Serkis as Thing, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Colin fucking Farrell, bro, as Penguin. Oh my God.
So good.
So fucking good, right? And I forgot the guy's name. John something. That's who's the Riddler? Fuck. It's gonna bug me now.
You know what? The first thing I thought, I almost turned to the Justin, our friend who came with us. I almost turned to Justin and said it, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna. But when the moment you see the mask revealed of
Daniel, yeah.
Of the Riddler. All I could think of, and the first thing that popped in my head was Brendan Dassey from Making a Murderer.
Yes.
That's the first thing that popped in my head was Making a Murderer.
Yes.
Brendan Dassey.
Yeah, no, he looks like him. That's true.
Exactly like it. Was so weird. I've never seen this actor in anything. So.
I've seen him in Prisoners. I've seen him in Prisoners.
Oh, yes. He was the... Yes. No, I remember.
So I've seen him in The Prisoner, but otherwise I have not really seen him in anything else. But he killed it.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
The Riddler was fucking terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. Because you think of the Riddler, you think of two. You think of, obviously, Jim Carrey and the ones from the games. This guy, oh my god. Like, the way he's breathing really, really heavy. And the euphoria he gets. By the way, check that show out. That show is awesome too. But the euphoria he gets when he gets his prey. And it's like almost as in like his body is just releasing what's the thing? Wow. Endorphins. Like you felt it. Like after the very first time, and he yells and he hits the guy, the mirror, and then he finally just kills him, and then he just like lets it go, get a deep sigh, and he's like, okay, now I'm going to sit down and do my masterwork. Duct tape. Put it around his face, no more lies. The riddles were really cool. But yes, the casting itself, a fantastic job. I'm very, very excited to see like how they're going to really expand this universe. But Gotham as a city, it was
a character all in itself.
Yes,
it was great.
I loved it. I don't know if we've ever gotten Gotham in that sense. Like it's always been said, oh, Gotham's a bad city. But Gotham's a bad city. We understand. If you play the video games and stuff, you get to experience it. But in a movie, you never really truly experience it. Like even with the Nolan trilogy, it's like, oh yeah, well, it's Chicago. So it's like,
yeah. It's Chicago, just maybe a little dirtier. And yeah.
Here, I was like, why is he saving the city? The city's just, this is like, let it burn. Like, let's be real.
He even said that, like, in the intro. Like, that's what I found was, like, with this Batman in particular, like, he was almost having, like, I'm gonna mess up this word. An existential, how do you say it?
Accent.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes. Crisis, yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Existential like, crisis. But yes.
That's it. It was like, he went from being...
He's writing in a diary.
Writing in the diary. He's like very detective Batman, like meticulous records, investigating the contact lens camera. Great,
amazing,
so good. But like, he even said in his whole intro spiel at the very, very beginning of the movie, he's like, "I've been doing this for 2 years. I don't think I'm making any difference." He's like, "I set out to go make a difference, or make a change." It's like I don't see anything. And he's like, this is too hard. Like, what am I doing? And I found that was definitely feel like the whole movie. It was like, he chose to be Batman, but now he's just questioning. He's questioning if he's really Bruce Wayne or if he's Batman. But then he's also questioning, is it even worth it? Am I doing anything? He's like, yes, I believe the city can change. But it's like, he's also at the same time going, what's the point? Like, I've been doing it for 2 years, nothing changed. Like, and like the whole, especially if they intro the whole story, basically explain who the characters are at the very beginning. He's like, the crime boss was taken down. The crime was meant to be gone.
Yeah,
Falcone's gone,
and it's only gone up.
Yeah, and he's like, everything just got worse, and he's like, what the hell?
I love it. And the guy, oh my god, the guy that played Falcone, the Palestinian guy from Zohan, sounds so bad. He is forever going to be that character for me because he did such a good job. But oh my god, him as Falcone, really, really good. Because like, yes, John Turturro, Carmine Falcone, and like he pulls it off, like completely pulls it out. Like I was like, yeah, no, I can see you as a crime boss. He's just chill, talks about things like the way he's like let everybody just out. We need to have a conversation. Just like he has that sway. And I like the whole element where in the beginning when he comes in as Batman and then no one really lets him in. They know who he is, but no one wants to let him in. When he comes back as Bruce Wayne later on at the end of the movie, everybody lets him in. So like it shows the fact that no, like sometimes you don't have to just don on the cape to get your answers. You can also use it as Bruce Wayne. So Andy Serkis is like, like what he was stating in terms of legacies and stuff. And I love the fact that Martha and Thomas Wayne are not the Golden Knights.
Yes.
Are not the White Knights with all this money that have spent every ounce of resource to save the city from itself. No, like they're good people. They are good people, but time to time, shit happens. Martha had a traumatic past. Her family had, like, mom killed herself and her dad. So she's been from the psychiatric hospital multiple times. So what do you think is going to happen to a politician like that? Oh, someone's going to go and dig up dirt. And when you go and ask a crime boss to investigate, what do you think he's going to do? He's gonna make sure he has some notes on it so he can keep on the side and say, "Hey, I'll go do it for you, but I'm also gonna keep everything on the side so I can blackmail you because you're definitely gonna become a mirror." So that's it. Like no matter what he does, there's always a fine line. There's always gray, and I love that part that they weren't these white shiny knights, and him having to Bruce Wayne's character having to deal with the fact that. Okay, so I thought my parents were like these amazing people, but they're really not because they made a deal with Falcone, who ended up killing a journalist. And let's be real, like that led to this whole other element and how corrupt the system really is. And that's the foundation of the city. The DA is into it. Everyone's into it to a point where the DA... He knows he can save himself, and he refuses to talk and has his head blown off.
Yeah,
like those kind of things. I was like, okay, like this is really really cool. I also like the fact that the city, the way they showed everything going on in the city, how different crimes, how there's a power struggle and everything, how the Penguin's working, like. It's a larger picture, but it becomes really small when you think about all the characters they're introducing and how interconnected it is. But that second part that I didn't like was the fact that how everything felt interconnected. All the characters somehow felt interconnected. Like it gave me the vibes of Star Wars when you have this massive galaxy to explore, and all of a sudden it just goes down to, oh yeah, the Skywalker saga. Right? It's all about the Skywalkers.
It's all about these 5 people. Yeah, nothing else. Yeah.
So here, even though it's like Zoe Kravitz's character, the Catwoman, Selena Kyle, she is Falcone's daughter. Oh, okay. Thomas Wayne is connected to Falcone because of his shady deal, which connects him to Batman, which connects him to Bruce Wayne and connects him to Batman, which is connected to the Riddler. Which is now like you see a few things like that. You're like, I get it. It's all neatly tied together.
They didn't need to connect everyone directly. It could have just been the link could have just been Gotham. They didn't have to personally involve their lives intertwined between everybody. And
Selena Kyle did not need to be Falcone's estranged daughter.
No,
like she could have just been, hey, she works for Falcone, and I would have bought that.
Yeah,
Thomas
that
Wayne
could have been her origin story. Yeah,
that's it.
Formed by the club and working for the mob, and now wants revenge.
Yeah, that's it. Like the small little things like that they could have done to but they tried to make everybody a little bit more interconnected and personal. So that's the second part that I did not like. I'm like, you have such an amazing city that you're showing, and you're like, I'm in this atmosphere. You set it up, but now you're like, no, FYI, everyone's connected. But one person we didn't talk about is Jeffrey Wright's, man, James Gordon. He killed it. Such a good Gordon,
yeah.
He killed it. My voice went really high there for a second. in the prison scene where he's like, "Give me 10 minutes, I'll get him to cooperate," And he's just like, you gotta go. You gotta punch me into the face, and you gotta go take the key, run up top, and just jump off. That's how you're gonna get out of this. Because all the GDCP is gonna come after you. But I loved it. How he could control Batman, how their friendship was in the past 2 years, but at the same time, he's still kind of questioning, like, do I need to trust him? Do I know who this kid is? Like, who this Batman person is? But he knows that everyone is corrupt, so he's gonna do whatever he possibly can. So those were
talking of that though, that bit that got really close to revealing, or we thought Batman's identity was gonna be revealed. So well done.
Which
like
one?
When he's basically just telling Gordon when he realizes Bruce Wayne is the next victim. And so he's basically telling Gordon, he's like, yeah, it's probably the last time you're going to see me. Like, you're a good cop. And he leaves. And I was like, oh, shit. And then he lives. He survives, everything. Yeah. But then the second bit where he's talking to Riddler in the hospital. And he's like, Bruce Wayne. I was like, oh, shit. And then, like, 5 minutes in, then he goes, I wish we could have got him. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
I know. Like, I know, Bruce Wayne.
So well written.
I know. Yeah, like the Riddler itself was like actually written really, really well. Like, you can tell he is this mastermind genius that wanted to. Well, actually, hold on. Before I even type into that, we didn't discuss the fact that he won. The Riddler won. Yeah. At the end, he blew out the seawall, flooded the city. Almost killed the mayor, the new elected mayor, like ultimately got rid of the DA, the old mayor. Who else was there? Police commissioner, and Bruce Wayne. And Alfred, right? So the Riddler technically won. The only place where he was able to foil the plan was that he wasn't able to kill the newly elected mayor, and Batman was able to come in and quickly do his voodoo magic and get shot in the shotgun in the face, point blank, and they were able to stop the assassination of the mayor, and ultimately throwing the entire city in anarchy. But when he mentioned in the beginning, Batman, where he's like, I'm vengeance, and I don't think I'm making a change, and at the very end, when the Riddler clone, he beats the fuck out of him. Gordon pulls off the mask and is like, what are you? And he's like, I'm vengeance. And Batman just looking at him, and he's like, oh shit, so I'm inspiring. I am changing the city, but I don't know. Not for the good. Yeah. Not for the good, because now I'm bringing out all these people that think they can take justice in their hand, and I don't know if that's the right way of going about it. Even Selina Kyle tells him at the very end, just come with me. City's not going to save itself. The new mayor is going to get corrupted. Everything's going to go back to the way it is. But he's like, I have to try. I think the city will be able to save. And then he returns back to Gotham. So like that
got really big, like for that scene in particular, when the unmasking of the Riddler follower, it was very much the first thing I thought of was Christopher Nolan's Batman in Dark Knight, where after he finishes beating up the gun, like right there, like the beginning of the movie. Oh no, not the beginning. I forgot what bit it was, but when he beats up like the gun deal people, and then the copycat Batman comes and tries to help him.
I'm not wearing hockey mats.
Yeah, so I was inspired by you, and then like he's talking to Alfred, and he's like, when I wanted to inspire people to change, the city, help the city is not what I had in mind. And then the other thing I thought of was Joker, and all the Joker gang, basically the groups, like when he basically just creates the following. And I was like, you have these two people that like trying to change the city, one for good, one for bad, but like the things they're inspiring may not be what they have in mind. And it was so well written, that scene. It was just like, he's like, yeah, I'm like you, but not like you. Like I'm like you, but I'm gonna fuck up the city. I'm not gonna do what you're doing.
Exactly, like the same line he said, "I'm vengeance." Down to the other part when he turns around and he's like, "What are you?" It's like, "I'm vengeance," because they want to see the city topple. They don't care. it's a bubbling point at the end of the day where everyone's out to eat each other alive because their life's not getting better. No matter how many people you change, no matter how much change you say you're going to bring, ultimately you won't be able to change anything in society unless you burn it down to the ground and restart a new foundation. But who's to say that foundation is not going to be built? Like, it's going to be built on bodies. So who's to say it's not going to end up being just as corrupt as this is, right? Yeah. So it's hard. It's really, really hard to turn around and bring this up. It's a funny story because when we were leaving, this guy in the theater, he did not seem so happy about the movie. And he's like, did you guys just finish watching the Batman? We're like, yeah. And he's like, what did you guys think about it? We're like, yeah, it was pretty good. He's like, yeah. And you can tell he did not enjoy it. He's like, yeah, but I felt like there were too many storylines in. It's like, well, it's the first Batman. What did you think, right? It's not going to be an origin story. I'm like, yeah. He's like, but did you guys think that it kind of made sense with the flow? I'm like, why? Like, he's like, the guys at the very end. I'm like, yeah, it's his following. It's pretty much like QAnon or any other conspiracy group, right? And he's like...
He shut down immediately.
Like, you could see like everything got kind of clicked, but at the same time, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to touch this subject anymore. And we're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, man. Take it easy. Have a good one.
So I didn't tell you guys this last night because he was like filling the elevator, but he was in front of me at the line for the parking validation, and the whole time he was complaining to his girlfriend about how the Riddler didn't make any sense because he didn't have a good justification to end it all, like end the city and everything else like that. He's like he didn't have any good motives. He didn't have a good backstory. I'm like, are you not paying attention to the movie?
Yeah, 100%, right?
He had the whole 10 minutes of explanation of why he's doing it, who he was. You fall asleep for that bit? Like, come on.
Come on, man. Come on. And how many people he inspired? How many people he inspired? Even though, like, he had only, like, 500 followers? But look what they did at the very end.
Yeah.
Like, it can... Oof.
But like stuff people might complain based on things like that, because I think they're looking at it as a Batman movie. And purely basing it off the Batman movies you've had in the past and comparing it to those. And thinking about it, I was like, there are a few things I noticed in this movie. There's like, I was comparing it to movies, but not Batman. Well, I had to stop myself from comparing it to Batman because here's me going like, oh, Dark Knight, and I was like thinking, like comparing, and I was like, nah, Dark Knight is forever going to be the best Batman movie of all time. Like, it's my almost my number one favorite movie, and it's always going to be an amazing movie. But if I stop looking at other Batman movies through that lens, I found this movie, I was getting like, I'm not a big horror person, but like I could see things like Saw and Jigsaw and stuff like that kind of those themes. And the two movies that really stood out to me, well, three actually, 2 movies, 1 television show. So the television show, Gotham. Just the way they had the city and like how corrupt the city was, how grimy the city was, the feel of the city, very much like the Gotham TV show. With the 2 movies, and with just the story itself and how like the story is basically just like a murder mystery. 7 and Zodiac. Those 2 movies.
Yes, 100% yes. Because, clues and everything that he was leaving behind. And, 7. Straight up, like the 4 murders he committed. All of them he's sending it to Batman because he knows Batman.
It's the rain. The rain helps. All I could think of was Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman standing outside that cafe in the pouring, pouring rain. And everyone's still doing their jobs. And, it was... That was the first thing I thought of was like murder, mystery, crime, corruption, evil city. I was like, 7. I haven't seen that movie in a while. All right.
I really like the fact how much of a focus on detective and solving the case they had, because Batman above all is a world-class detective. Like when you play the video games and you do everything, he can beat the fuck out of you. If it's like you're in, a henchman or doing evil things. But like above all, like how quickly he was solving everything, and the way he was solving it without even like, aha, light bulb scene. What was the riddle? What does a liar do when he dies? And
He lies still.
he lies
Yeah.
still. And the way he just says, he looks at him, he's like, he lies still. And he's still
That one was like, it was
scope-
obvious. He lies still.
Yeah. And he still is like, he's still scoping around, and then you realize he's recording everything so he can go back and he can break everything apart. I was like, oh my God, this is genius. But he was so quick, and obviously they make mistakes as well. Like, when the penguin says, he's like, no, you the guy Spanish is not that good.
Yeah.
Like, you got it wrong. It's supposed to be the bat. Love it. And the chase
There was
sequence.
some aspects of humor in the movie too. It's like, it really helped, I found. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna have a good laugh for like 2 seconds. It was just like the odd quick little quip joke. And it made you just like, like
smart witty comments.
the chase scene.
Oh my God.
And the Batmobile, amazing.
You felt it. I like when he was first revving the engine, and everyone just kind of looking there like, what the fuck is that? And then he's revving the engine, and you hear everything. You hear the the ignition and everything. Your seats like full of sound design.
Yeah.
Oof.
And that's the thing. We weren't in D-Box or anything. We weren't paying for the fancy like motion seats. This was just regular IMAX movie theater, and yet the soundtrack was phenomenal. But I still find it funny that he stole the engine. That made me laugh. It's like, he's not perfect. He's gonna make mistakes. He made mistakes in the investigation. He's like, he's about to go kick your ass. He's like, shit.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah, the chase scene was great, and Colin Farrell acting in that was so good.
And you've seen some of it in the trailers as well, where it's like, I got you, haha, I got you, and getting his ass beat afterwards. I'm shocked how much the movie is in the trailers, and they did a really, really good job at hiding it in the trailers. Like there's one shot that's literally in the last 5 minutes of the movie. It's the one where he's up top. It's probably the only day sequence where Batman is like wearing his costume. And he's like covered in grime, and then there's a helicopter coming, and he's looking up because he sees the Batman symbol. And that scene is in the trailer. And I'm like, it's the last 5 minutes, man. Wow.
That's the other thing is like, the majority of the movie was pretty much all of it was at night. Dark Knight was different. Like other Batman movies, they do night and day,
but daytime they usually do Bruce Wayne, and here he doesn't come out. And he said it too. He's a nocturnal creature. He has become a nocturnal creature because he's out at nighttime. He's investigating. He has his hood on, his mask on. Doing all the COVID-friendly procedures, staying 6 feet away from people, and just scoping everyone that's going through. But yeah, I love the atmosphere. I love the city. As a character, they sold me on the Gotham. They sold me on the characters. I'm very much invested in this universe. Cannot wait to see the little cameo of Joker at the very end. In the cell when he's talking to that was the part that was ruined for me before we went to watch the movie, and I meant to talk to you. I'm like,
you spoiled it for yourself.
I'm like, I think I spoiled one thing, and they were like, why? I'm like, there's a character at the end, I guess. Then they mention who the character is, and it is, they don't show his face, they just show a silhouette. You hear the laugh, you hear the laugh, and you hear how sly this person is, where it's like, isn't this beautiful Barry something? He's the guy from Eternals. And how good his laugh really suited him. B, he's smart. He's like, oh, what do you have more of? But the less and less you have, the more important it becomes. And the Riddler's like, friends? And he starts laughing, And I was like, oh shit, you sly motherfucker. I'm very curious to see if this is gonna be the new Joker, then how they're gonna pull off the chemistry and stuff. But love it. Absolutely love it. I think.
Oh yeah, I recognize this guy.
Mhm.
He's in Dunkirk. Yeah, he's.
Oh
An
yes,
Irish,
he is in Dunkirk.
Irish actor.
Yeah.
Oh, I reckon I know immediately now who he is. Have you seen Chernobyl, the TV show, the HBO show?
Yeah.
The kid, the soldier who had to shoot all the dogs. That's him. That was an amazing TV show. Holy smokes.
Chernobyl. Far too close to reality, man. Right now.
Yeah,
Everything that's
close to
happening.
reality now.
Yeah, everything that's happening, you're like, oh, we're no longer just watching history. Fuck, we're gonna be history, living through it.
I found the only issues I had in the movie was the length. I feel it definitely could have been shortened. I'm okay watching a long movie, especially for something like this. Did it have to be 3 hours long though? I don't know. But also at the same time, I can't really think of a scene that I would have cut.
Yeah.
Either. Like, it was all kind of good. It's just 3 hours is a long time. Like, especially at the movie theater, you get a giant pop. You need a pee after like an hour and a half, but usually you can push through to the end of the movie, and then it's like 3 hours long. And that's like 2 movie lengths. Like, I don't want to leave because I'll miss stuff, but like, you gotta use the washroom.
But it's only half a movie for the extended edition of one of the Bollywood movies that you enjoy so much.
Yeah.
Or Lord of the Rings.
Okay, that's
Get out of here. Yeah, get out of here.
But like, okay, Lord of the Rings is different because the director's cut came out at home, so you can just pause it if you need to go do anything.
That's fair.
But the other thing I didn't really like was just some aspects of the finale and the ending. Like, the mayor got shot. That was great. Because, like, Gordon's, like, telling you, like, no, don't go out there. Like, you need to leave. Like, people are here to kill you. She's like, nah. And I was like, and you can tell immediately Gordon's like, well, I'll see how this fucking goes. Like, huh. And then, you know, obviously she gets shot, falls down, he has to pull her body off the stage. So I thought either she's dead or really gravely
No, she's
wounded.
not. She was wounded because she is in the very end.
But yeah, and at the end, she's walking around. I was like, it's only been like 10 minutes since you were shot. You would be going into shock. You'd be panicking. I don't think you'd be walking and swimming. Like, having Batman go rescue her and everyone else in the wreckage, I was like, that kind of ruined it a little bit. I was like, how is she like moving around? Like, how, like, I would be fine with it if she was being carried by people.
Yeah.
Like, she's still alive. You can see she's alive, but like,
she's
she's
limping and somebody's kind of carrying her.
Yeah. 2 people like got it on like a piece of debris or something, and then at the end when Batman sees someone on the stretcher, like if it's her being airlifted out, that would have been like great. The fact that she's just like walking around like, oh, blah, I'm like, you got shot. What are you doing? Like, I mean, they kind of adjust it at the end with the speech, and like you can tell she's bandaged up, she's in a sling, so I was like, all right, okay, she survived clearly, but it's like, I don't know.
What was the other
and then the other bit was the jumping in the wire. I was like, that wasn't really necessary.
And the thing is, I get it. I understand. He looked at the wire. He looked at the amount of water, and it's obviously electricity. So he's like, okay, I need to cut this wire quickly or else everyone down in the water, because it's anyone in the water would have been electrocuted. Yeah. Totally understand. But the heroic moment did not need to be that heroic.
No.
You just took a shotgun point blank. I understand that you're heroic, my man. But like, he's like, yeah, I gotta do this. And he jumps up and he grabs onto the wire and he cuts the wire. And I'm like, okay, all of this I'm liking. He's a little bit electrocuted, yes. But he's also like come on, your armor. You've been taking bullets before. You're not gonna. This a little bit of electricity is not gonna kill you. But then his fall into the water.
Yeah, that was the like.
I was like, come on, man! You having this Jesus moment? It's the same thing as Man of Steel with Kalark. when he's leaving and he's like this, and he floats out into the sun and gets the rays of the sun and gets energized, and then he's like, I'm gonna go down and save Earth. I'm like, come on, man, don't do that. They didn't, but it's just like the slow-mo of him falling down. Like, there's just water, dude. You took a shotgun like 30 seconds ago to point blank. You survived that. You will be fine.
Pump yourself full of adrenaline and you're good to go.
And beat the fuck out of the guy afterwards.
Yeah. I was like, was cutting the wire really necessary? Like, throw your batarang, slice it, or like cut it and then like just leap to, cowl safety. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just think of the
whole heroic fall and then disappearing under the water. And I was sat there going, are they really gonna kill him in like the movie? Like,
and he comes back out like within like the next 3 seconds. He's back out, floating around and getting people out. I'm just like, well, why? Why the slow mo then?
Yeah,
and the music.
It was so
weird. That was a weird choice.
It was a weird bit of the ending itself was great. Like, the whole finale. It was just that 2-minute chunk where I was just like,
yeah,
really, what's going on?
I didn't even think of the batarang. Yeah, he could have thrown the batarang and just cut the wire. I don't know why he had to jump, grab, cut, and...
Yeah. The whole movie felt like very like grimy crime thriller, except for that bit.
Yeah.
That bit, I feel like they tried to be superhero movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, I feel like that was could have been like a DC choice of, let's do this. Learning on, or not learning from their past mistakes of all the other movies they've done, and they're like, let's do this, and the other just like, no, like, doesn't fit with the movie, let's do it, and they had to do it. Like that's how I kind of envision it, is like, it was so out of touch from the rest of the movie.
You have to be heroic.
It was weird.
And it comes right after that scene where I'm like, Gordon pulls the mask off and asks the guy, what are you? And he's like, I'm vengeance. And Batman's having this like moment of, oh shit, am I inspiring this?
Yeah. They could have just ended it right there. Then had the scene of everyone on the roof and everything afterwards.
But no, you have to cut the wire.
Okay, there you go. If any deleted scene could have been, that would have been it. They didn't need that bit.
Yeah, no, that was a bit unnecessary. Because like I felt cringe.
Yeah.
Him jumping on the wire, it was him jumping
superhero cringe.
Yeah,
scene.
Him jumping on the wire wasn't that bad. Like, but then when he cut it and the slow-mo happened and the choir kicked in and the entire scene is like maybe 10 seconds long. It's not even that, but like that's how much out of place it felt.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But yeah. Really liked it. Really liked it.
I'm very interested to see where they go for a second or third movie.
Was this one of your most anticipated movies for this year?
Yeah. Uncharted, I wasn't overly bothered about because it's a video game movie. So I was looking forward to it, but I also in the back of my head was, it's a video game movie, so it could be okay/good, or it could be real bad. So I was like, I'll watch it, but I'm not overly pumped for it. This I was super excited for. The trailers came out forever ago. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like, I need a new Batman.
Yeah, because I'm going through everything right now, and
we had a new Joker. We need a new Batman.
Yeah, I think, for me, this was probably this and Thor are probably my most anticipated.
Yes.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, I am all in. I think it's going to be amazing. But it's when they delayed it, I was like, okay, they delayed it. I wasn't very like, oh my God. Even though, what if, and the scenario they're putting Doctor Strange in there was fantastic. I am very, very hyped, but not at the same hype levels as Thor and the Batman. And I'm going through everything right now. I mean, we still have Morbius. We still have Wakanda Forever, Avatar 2, the Lightyear, obviously, Black Adam, Secrets of Dumbledore, which is coming out like in a month, Sonic 2, Nope, Aquaman, Turning Red. That's going to be exciting because that's supposed to be taking place in Toronto. It's the animated movie from Pixar.
Animated, yes.
Let's see what else. Bullet Train, I just recently saw a trailer. It looks really cool. Creed 3, I'm really excited about. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Downtown Abbey, Angie is really excited about that one. Yeah. Secret
They've already
Headquarters.
had a movie for that TV show.
I have not seen any of it.
I never finished it. I think I got to like halfway through the show.
Yeah. Like my sister and Angie are really much into it. So like they're like super excited. And she's like, oh, can we go watch it? I'm like, I can get tickets for you. And you can go and watch it with your friends. Like that would be that you're gonna have tons of time. And she's like, why don't you want to go? I'm like, I have no problem in going if I lost a bet.
You want the short list or the long list?
I'm like, I have no problem going if I lost a bet or something. But think of me pushing you to go watch a Fast and Furious movie. She's like, point taken. I'm like, exactly. Go watch a movie. Go watch it with your friends. Go have a fun time. I'll get tickets for you and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about any of this. But yeah.
It's not your cup of tea.
Oh, the Untitled Mario movie is supposed to come out this year too.
Mario movie?
Yeah, Chris Pratt's Mario.
I'm sorry, they're not getting an Italian to play Mario?
Yeah, I know. But hey, they were able to pull off Sonic the Hedgehog too, so let's see.
But Mario has an accent, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It's me.
How can you have Chris? Yeah, how can you have Chris Pratt? It's going to be borderline questionable if you have Chris Pratt trying to do a fake Italian accent like every time he speaks as Mario.
Listen, and the greatest movie of all time that's becoming into a franchise is going to be also coming out this year as well. Avatar 2.
Oh, finally.
A movie that nobody...
When did the first one come out?
A movie
I mean, that was like, came out of nowhere anyway.
Yeah.
What, 2009? It's been that long? Oh, wow.
Like a full decade later. And
Think how much CGI has changed since then?
People, so Avatar 2 won't have any trouble drawing people back after the 13-year gap, executive says. Well, I don't know, executive, because I am not excited for Avatar whatsoever. So but it is a James Cameron movie, so I am curious about that. So I'm going to wait until reviews come out and we find out that, oh, Kate Winslet's in it too. Wow.
I mean, it was the most watched, the highest grossing movie for a long time.
It's going to do well in a lot of the Asian territories. Yeah. It will. Like when you look at, why did I say territory? Countries. Territories. It's going to do well in a lot of other places. I don't know domestically how well they're going to do this in Canada and US. So let's see. Especially with all the superhero movies. I wonder if it's going to have the same pull. Or is it going to be like Matrix?
Yeah. 2009 was a long time ago. That was pre-Marvel.
Yeah. No. Yeah, pre-Marvel universe. Iron Man had come out, yeah.
Yeah.
But underwater sequences, let's see. Maybe it'll be a sight to see because he did a lot of research in the water.
Yeah.
New different cameras created just for that, right? So, oof. See, now I'm getting excited. I'm like, I'm looking at the screenshots. I'm like, maybe this will be kind of neat. But let's see. All right, that is it for us. I don't think we have anything else to say about the Batman. Go watch it. We recommend. It is fantastic. We clearly loved it. We gushed about it for about an hour and 10 minutes. So, yes. Any final thoughts, sir, before I close it off?
No. Just excited to see where they go with this franchise. Definitely going to be a franchise.
Oh, 100%.
This isn't going to be a one-off.
No. 100%. I think they already announced Batman 2.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. As always, guys, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. With that said, this is Cast 5 signing out. Ciao.
See ya.